Solar enhancement invention that I've named Karma. Karma stands for a project that I learned out in the Central Pacific, but I'm using it for the solar company also.
And what does Karma stand for?
Karma is a word that's used throughout the world to, means essentially what goes around comes around. It's kind of like our golden rule. We treat you the way we'd like to be treated ourselves.
So how does the golden rule apply to your project, Karma?
Well, that's a good question. I've got to convince my customers that we're giving them more electricity for free. In other words, they're getting something for nothing, which...
that's kinetic energy, isn't it?
No, I mean like perpetual motion?
Yeah, that's...
we have to stay away from that.
All right. So how is it it's karmic?
Karma.
Karma.
Yeah. What I mean is that we take the sunshine from the sun, which we get freely, and turn it into electricity. But our solar panels today are so inefficient that it just gives us a little bit of electricity. Karma makes them work harder and produce more electricity than what they normally do. We call that enhancement.
All right, so this is a solar panel.
Yes, it's from my laboratory.
And we are going to give it some karma. This is our karma.
Well, I suppose you can look at it that way. But this is a Jacob's ladder. It's two electrodes that are connected to a 12,000 volt transformer, and we can plug it in. If you'll plug it in, we'll show you that.
You want me to plug it in now?
Yes, and stay away from it. It's 12,000 volts.
All right.
And this arc that you'll see makes a zapping noise. So we call our procedure. Can you hear that? There it goes. Can you hear that zapping noise?
Yeah, I can see that.
When you take the solar panel and put it up close to it, that arc...
I'm going to unplug it now.
Good idea. That arc sends out a light that's called alpha radiation and enhances the solar panel. It's that simple. And you only have to enhance it one time for the lifetime of the solar panel. Most solar panels last about 25 years.
And is it dangerous?
Only if you stick your finger in the earth. I wouldn't advise that.
All right, so am I harming the solar panel as I'm treating it?
Well, we don't think so. They call that degradation, where it's acceptable to ruin a solar panel up to 1% per year. That's the industrial standard, and we think that we're doing less than that.
All right, so how long does it take to treat a panel so that it is producing what you're claiming, a 25% increase in productivity?
On a small panel like this, it probably take about 20 seconds. On a large panel, it takes almost 2 minutes. Of course, there we're using 6 transformers, larger transformers, and we're running 6 Jacob's ladders at the same time, because the panels are not only taller, they're much wider, and it takes more energy to enhance them. To give you some specific numbers, it takes 180 watts to run one of the large Jacob's ladders, 6 of them at a time, and that will do a job on a commercial solar panel that they use out on the solar farms. So the electricity that we're using here to enhance them is negligible.
So you see that there are 3 different markets that you're able to target with this
Yes.
invention. What are those 3 markets?
Actually, I see 4.
4 markets.
Yeah. The first one, of course, is at the assembly line where the solar cell comes in on the belt, and it makes a turn to be soldered, and then straightened up and goes down the belt to get placed onto the solar panel. And that's on the assembly line. So there's the first market. The second market is when those panels come off the assembly line, they have to be stored in a warehouse waiting for a truck to pick them up. And then they move them to another warehouse out on the solar farm or the rooftop array, wherever that panel is going. We would prefer to treat the panels at that location because we have the equipment to treat a lot of them at the same time very fast, and so we can do it much more cheaply. The third place is once the panels are all produced and put on top of the roof of your home or your shopping mall or your carport, then we have to get a man lift and go up on top of the roof and zap them again. Then the really big one are out on the solar farms where these panels are laid out for miles and miles, going over hills, just clear out of sight. There it's dangerous because we can't interrupt their production during the day, so they're hot. They're hundreds of thousands of volts, and our lives are in danger. So we work on the solar farms from dusk to dawn, all night long, zapping each panel individually. And we can get a lot of production up, but it's a lot more work than if we just do it in a nice, comfortable, air-conditioned warehouse.
So you would prefer to do it, so I'm understanding that there is 4 ways that this technology can be utilized. One, included in the manufacturing process.
Yes.
At the end of the manufacturing process.
The warehouse.
At a warehouse, at the solar farms, and then on the rooftops,
yes, the rooftops
of the buildings. Interesting. So that's 4 different markets? Is that how you see this?
Yes. The market is just the rooftop has been estimated to be over $1 trillion to just treat the panels up on the roof.
So you brought up money. So how is this going to be cost effective in our treatment, or what is the cost of this?
I'd like to claim that we're doing it for free, but that's kind of a strange word, because at the end of the day, when we do our work, when the sun comes up the next time on that panel, it travels at the speed of light to your electrical meter, where it's turned into money. You're getting it quickly. It's costing you only the inconvenience of having us up on your roof or out on your farm. So it's no effort on your part. So we feel that it's an unearned profit for you, an unearned income that we'd like to share with you.
A 25%.
Yeah, it's a big number.
Increase.
Yeah, it's up into the millions for farms and solar top arrays. In other words, we'd like to take something that you're getting for free for allowing us to treat your panels, and we'd like to share that with you. And of course, we need to cover our labor cost and our research and development, but it's a lot more for the next 25 years than what you're getting now.
So how much would it cost to utilize this?
Well, of course, it costs you nothing more than what you're paying right now. You've got your panels installed. We're coming along and just making them work harder.
What do you want from the 4 different, how do you see the 4 different markets being able to reciprocate?
Or to pay me back?
Yeah.
That's a very difficult question to answer. And so it's whatever you and I can negotiate.
Well, let's say we're at the manufacturing process and we're down to the small individual solar cells within the panels, and we're treating each individual solar cell before they get soldered. As it comes off of the manufacturing process, it's going to be increased by 25% productivity. So how do you see that as reimburse you for this technology?
The last smart person that I asked that question of, he went into a coma. I'm not prepared to answer that question, but after a few years of experience I'll know how much I need to live and how much you need to enjoy your solar panels. I really feel partially responsible for us putting so many panels up on roofs and out on farms that are not doing their job. And so if I can do something to change that, I want to do so. Of course, I want to be compensated for it, but
compensation.
I am myself a simple person. My contractors might be a little more interested in money, but that's between you and the contractor.
Let's say that, hypothetical, have you come in and do my solar farm. Side-by-side panels. One panel's treated, the other panel's not treated.
Yeah.
And we look at the productivity of this panel that's been treated, and we see that it's 25% more efficient, or producing 25% more watts. How much are you going to want for that increase? Let's say over a year, over a month, you're going to want something. I mean, nobody wants something for nothing. I want the increased productivity, of course, but what are you going to want?
I think I'll probably have to leave that up to my grandchildren to figure out for me, because I'm too simple to answer that question.
All right, so there has been some talk that we could probably do it a 25% increase over a year of productivity on, let's just say, one panel or one farm, that, and take 1% of that increase as payment for the year.
That's very possible. But for example, our local farm here, they have 150 megawatts, and
which is huge.
Yeah, truly. And they send it to Los Angeles, where the price doubles of what it is here in Utah. Those are big numbers.
Okay, what was that number again? You said 100 and what?
150 megawatts.
150 megawatts. Now, if I increase that wattage by 25%,
I think it's 162.
162 wattage that they would be enjoying just because we treated their farm.
Yeah, at no cost to them.
Because we could take the percentage off of the increase. Not even, there was some talk that we would take the whole 100% of the increase and then let them have the rest of it for 5 years, or a percentage over 5 years, or a percentage over the lifetime, or we could start out with a percentage from the beginning and just have that for the lifetime of the project.
Well, at my age, I would rather sell out, let somebody else figure that out, take care of my family.
Right, and so that is selling the patent.
Yeah.
Would that be selling the patent to the solar farms, or to the manufacturer, or to the entrepreneur who is up on the roof?
Yes.
All three.
Yeah. Whoever's going to do the work ought to get paid.
Right.
To pay. So.
Right. What is the catch?
The catch is no one's done this before, so I have no idea how to answer your question.
So tell us about how you felt when you realized that the panels were actually improved 25%. You knew for a fact that your panel was producing 25% more after you treated it.
Well, actually, you were the person who showed me that. You wanted to, I wanted to stop after 25 zaps, and you decided that you were going to reduce that panel down to beach sand called silicon sand, black sand. And you went off to the lab, and when you came back, you said, "I can't kill this thing."
Yes.
And you showed me some efficiency graphs that went clear off the chart. And so, how do I feel about that? Too good to be true, but I have the patent, and we know how to make it work, and we don't see anything that hurts anyone else or doesn't hurt the panel.
Well, my hypothesis at that time was to kill the panel. So we zapped the panel over 100 times, and it only improved every time, and then it did top out and start going down.
Yeah, one of the reasons that I didn't try to discourage you is that I'm only using for these little tiny Jacob's ladders. The amount of electricity you're using is insignificant. But when you get to the large panels like you have on the solar farm, I've got that counted. 180 watts. That's about as much electricity as I use in part of my office. It's negligible. And so I just let you go do your thing and hope you bring back the sand pile when you were through with it. But you brought back the panel still operating.
Well, that was one of the things that was really amazing to me, that no matter what I did to the panel, it was always better than it first came out of the box.
Yeah. When we hear things like that, we use the word skeptical.
Yes.
And so I've got an opportunity to work with an engineer to build my new prototype.
Right, good.
Or to deal with a university. These students will get involved in research and answer some of the questions that I don't have answers for. But we're going to find some interesting things going on here.
What is your theory on why the panel is producing more wattage?
That's a good question. Before I answer that, let me just say that one of my friends is dealing with similar technology, and he's building an X-ray machine that uses alpha radiation. He's using a solar panel much the same way we use X-rays. And so this technology is branching out into something much more than solar panels. And that was just with the first engineer that came along. What else is going to come up? I have no idea, but my patent is written so that I'm covered on all of them. And so I'd like to sell that patent to someone who can go out and chase down all of these different challenges.
And there you have it. Ron Davison, inventor of solar enhancement. 25% enhancement on solar cells just from being treated with the Jacob's ladder.